There's an interesting pattern. The less someone understands the world, the more eager they are to tell you what the world is like. Once I was on a business trip in Hong Kong and chatting with some friends from different countries, and we were discussing a simple question. Why in recent years cities like Hong Kong, Shanghai, the global cities have been losing talent? Especially many young people are choosing to leave for the US, Europe, Japan, Korea, even Southeast Asian countries. At that moment, a Chinese guy next to us suddenly jumped in and said, because those countries are better at propaganda. They brainwash people and they are very good at manipulation. And most young people, they are just naive. A European guy beside me at the table paused for a second, then asked him, have you ever been to those brainwashing countries yourself? He froze for a second and then replied, there's no need. I've seen a lot online. Even AI on my phone tells me the same thing, so I understand it better than you do. Do you know what's most ironic? It's not that he was wrong, it's that he was absolutely certain and completely confident. I bet you've met people like this before. In fact, over the past decade, China has sent roughly 500,000 to 1 million students abroad every year. And most of them go to the US, UK, Australia, Canada, and Japan. But if you open the mainstream social media in China, surprisingly, you'll see a completely different world. The outside world is chaotic. People regret leaving. Home is the best place. But if the outside world is really that bad, why are so many people still leaving every year? And most of these people are well educated, people who actually have options. So you start to notice something interesting. People who vote with their feet and people who judge the world with their mouths almost never agree. Because from the very beginning, they were never living in the same world. If you ask people who have actually lived abroad for years, they would probably tell you there are good parts and bad parts. Everyone is different. Not actually, it depends. They don't sound very certain. But these people, visas, jobs, housing, taxes, adaptation, they paid real costs and took real risks. On the other side, some people only need to shot videos, news, authority to confidently explain the entire world. And if you go one layer deeper, the problem becomes clear. As you all know, in some environments, information is not missing, it's filtered. What you see has already been processed. What you hear is what you're supposed to hear. And over time, people develop an illusion. They thought they were thinking, but in fact, they were only repeating. That's exactly why the more limited information someone receives, the more certain and confident they become. And when they hear something different, their first reaction is usually not, is that true? Instead, it becomes, how dare you say that? From my experience, this is nonsense. Eventually, we come to realize that the real gap between people is often not ability, not effort, not even background or personality. It is the world they have seen, the world they choose to believe in, and the level of cognition that comes from it. And the more brutal truth is, Many people will never realize and never admit that everything they believe has been filtered and implanted